What's up? Welcome to Armor God Woodworks, and welcome into where we have our shapers. This is where we build all of our doors, and we, cut our grooves in and all that stuff, do all of our dados, and we do them on these shapers. This shaper right here is a Shop Fox W1702. It's a 3-horse shaper, and it comes with half, 3/4, and 1-inch spindles. And we've got 2 of them, so we've got one to do one groove, and then we've got another one right over here that does the second groove. And there it is. That's how we got it set up. We got us a little miter sled, and we've got a jig built on top of it so that when we run our joining opposing sides, it doesn't have any tear out on the back. So the doors that we make here are these. These are like a shaper style door, and so you can see how we got a recessed panel in here, and we got about 5/16 there. And we got a little bit offset there, and then we got a 1/4-inch piece of domestic birch plywood inside. And it's got an MDF core, so it's really strong, but it's veneered with birch, so you don't have to worry about water getting on it and swelling it up and busting the door. So it's a really nice product, and it adds a good bit of strength into those doors. So we've got all of our pieces cut. We've got 12 doors, or 12 drawer fronts we got to make for a bookcase that's fixing to go out. And so this is what we're dadoing into. So we'll be running these through the shaper, and like I said, it's the Shop Fox 1702 3-horsepower shaper, and we've got a 1/4 horsepower Grizzly feeder on top. And man, that if you're looking at building your own doors and creating a little bit extra income by doing that, then I highly recommend this setup that we've got here. That power feeder is going to keep your hands away from the shaper blade, and so you're not going to worry about getting your fingers sucked into it, because that's like the last thing you want to happen. So we're going to run these boards, and just keep in mind we're running it's for 12 drawer fronts, so we're going to be running all the pieces for it except for the plywood core. So let's get this thing turned on. I'll show you how fast and efficient it is. We're going to do it in real time, so you can see, everything we do up here is in real time. I want you to see how long it takes to do each step, and bring you into my world. And we don't try to speed anything up, because I don't want you to get any false pretenses about you can build a whole set of doors in 5 minutes. I want to show you real time what it takes to do it, and that way you don't have any problems when you get in your shop and think your machines aren't running as fast as mine, because I can assure you they're going to be running the same speed. So 1/4 horsepower feeder, and you turn the feeder into the fence just a little bit. That way you're keeping constant pressure against that knife, and you can put them in there as fast as you can, and it'll spit them right out. So let's get it going and see what happens. And I'm going to bring the camera in just a little bit closer so that you can see what we're doing, and hope you enjoy it. Got all this stuff set up on dust collectors, so any kind of chips and stuff, suck them right up in here. And we got a dust collector right over here behind us, and it's a 2-bag 5-horse, so we won't have any problems with that. So let's get these things rolling. All right, so that was all my side runs for, or all my first runs for my side pieces. And you can see how, you know, this will be the inside, this will be the face side that you actually see, and then we'll have that 1/4 inch piece that goes in there. Now these edges in here, the shaper blade is made so they're eased off so that whenever you slide your plywood core into there, it slides in nice and tight, and you don't have any like square edges right there that's going to gnaw off the side of the plywood. And so these shaper heads work real good. They're made by Freeborn, and we just buy them straight up from them. I think they're out of Washington State. And so if you're looking for some really good shaper blades, these are the ones you want to get. You want to look at the Freeborn brand. And as far as the shaper, I mean, any shaper model will do, but for what we do up here, we use a 3-horse W1702 Shot Fox model, and we got 2 of them, and really like them. And the power feeder, just, I mean, it pays for itself not very much longer after you get it. I mean, it's just saves you so much time, and you can just stick the boards in there and run them just as fast as you can. And so it really helps speed up the process of what you're doing. And time is, you know, time is of the essence whenever you're doing all of this stuff. You don't need to be in there, you know, wasting time. And the dangerous part of the shaper is completely taken away whenever you have that power feeder in there, because your fingers aren't close to it at all. So that's what I really like about it. And I mean, anybody that comes in this shop, they can run this thing, and I don't have to worry about them, you know, cutting their fingers off unless that's just what they had planned for that day. But anyways, that's how we do that. And we'll do another video on the opposing cut where they join together, and then we'll do an assembly video so that you can see how we put all these things together. But anyways, if you're looking into doing cabinet doors, or, you know, looking at the, you know, just what's the profit margin of doing your own cabinet doors, if you've got a setup like this, I mean, you know, you don't have to worry about paying anybody else. You don't have to worry about waiting on them to do it. When you got downtime in your shop, if, you know, like normally, if I'm spraying a set, my dad's up here, you know, building all the doors and drawer fronts and all that stuff. And so that gives him something to do while I'm spraying a set. And then by the time I get done, he's got all these built. We get them sanded out, and they're ready to go into the paint room and ready to go. That way nobody has any downtime up here at the shop, and there's always something to do. So keep that in mind. That's real time running these rails, and we'll try to do a linked up video where, you know, we show you the full process of how we do our doors. So stick around, and we'll get her done. All right, so in the last video you saw where we made our bottom and top pieces and our sides where our doors go all together. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how we cut them to make them all connect. This is our Freeborn cutter, and this is the other ones was our positive cut. This is our negative cut. So it's actually going to leave part of the door assembly piece in there where it all joins together. And we actually just glue all this up, and we got some nylon pins that we use to put them together. This is the same shaper that we use to cut our sides, and it's the Shot Fox W1702 3-horse, and we've got a miter sled on here, and we've got this little hold down made by Bessie. And so we just put our rail in there, clamp it down, and run it right through. And of course we've got this thing hooked to a dust collector, and so if you like racket, we fix and turn it on, and let's get these things running real quick. One thing I failed to mention on these pieces is you can see that that piece is thinner than this, and so the thicker piece is would be the part that you would see. So that would be the face side of this piece right here, with our plywood going in this part right here. So you always want to make sure that you run this stuff face down just like that, because if there's a difference in thickness in this one compared to another one that I have, they'll all be the same on the front. So if I have to do any hard sanding or anything, it'll only be on the back side. So you just want to make sure on these pieces that you always run the face down first. So let's get these things run out. So we're back. We're at the assembly table. We've run all of our pieces through our shaper. We've cleaned everything up, and now we're ready to put it all together. We've ripped our plywood panels, and so now all we need to do is do a little bit of gluing and a little bit of nailing and making sure these things go together like they're supposed to. So the plywood that we use is an MDF core 1/4 inch. It's a domestic birch. So we've got birch veneer, and then it's got a MDF core in the center of it, which brings it out to a 1/4 inch of thickness. And that's going to give us a lot of strength on these doors versus just, you know, like a laminated plywood or something like that. That MDF core is going to really strengthen it up. So when we put these doors together, it's a 5-piece door. So we got 2 sides, the top and the bottom, and then we've got the interior. So it's a 5-piece door. Whenever we make the smaller drawers, which are going to be on the front, they're only 6.5 inches tall. So if you use, like on our regular drawers, all of our sides and our top and bottom are all 2.5 inches. If you do that on a 6.5, you're not going to have enough of your panel in there to actually put a knob or a pull or something like that. So we make those pieces 2 inches wide instead of 2.5, and that gives us an extra inch inside of where our recess is for a pull or a knob or whatever the homeowner's choice is for their hardware. So you want to kind of keep that in mind when you're doing that, just so you make sure that you've got all your clearances for everything that's going on in your cabinet. You really have to think ahead when you're doing this stuff so you don't get kind of caught behind the 8 ball and you know, your product will turn out like it's supposed to. So the way that we assemble these doors or the drawer fronts is pretty simple. We do them face down, and that way whenever we're nailing through, we won't be nailing on the face side. And the gun that we're using is an Omer. It's this little gun right here. Works on about 50 psi, so we've got it on a separate regulator from the rest of our shop. We run the rest of our shop on about 110, and this is the only thing that we run that low. It's like 40 to 50 psi depending on what you're shooting through. This gun doesn't need much air pressure. It doesn't like much air pressure. It's shooting nylon pins, so you know, nylon pins, if you got too much pressure, they're just going to explode whenever you shoot them in there. And the brand that we use for the pins is Raptor, and these are 5/8 of an inch long, so I know I'm not going to shoot through my 13/16 inch pieces that go on the face of these. So we've got this little piece of it's a PVC trim molding that we made, and we ran it through our shaper, so we've got the same profile here that we do on this, and pretty simple assembly here that we do. And so we just take our 2 sides, put them together, and you want your fat sides. You can see how I've got the fat sides together. So that way whenever you glue it, you can lay it down just like that and you're ready to assemble it. Top bond 3, you know that's all we use in this shop. Put a little bit on the 4 points there. And you just want to take this piece right here and just kind of run it in there and get that glue on all the surfaces. And the reason we use PVC is because at the end of the day, whenever we get done with it, we can go stick it in the sink, let it soak overnight, and it'll get rid of all the glue residue that's left on it. We'll come back in the next morning, clean it up, and you don't have to worry about it swelling and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So just put them together like that. And we get our plywood core, and you got a side and you got a B side, or a pretty side and an ugly side. Make sure you put your pretty side down because we're building these things upside down. So we'll just slide that in like that. Make sure everything's good and flush. And there's a million ways to do these. I do the bigger ones a little bit different than this. These right here, they're kind of small, and so you just kind of have to do the best you can with them. But once that glue sets up and your nails are in it and everything, you know, you're not going to have a problem getting these things square. As long as everything's flush and you cut everything right, never had a problem doing it like this. You can use clamps, you know, you use whatever you need to get it pulled tight, but most of the time a little bit of hand pressure will just do a little bit of convincing with it and it'll make it go. So it's just as simple as that. And I mean, you know, that was pretty quick. I don't know how long that took, but it's not very long. And so anyways, it's fairly simple how we do that. And you know, it's about the easiest way you can build doors, honestly. But you know, I know they make all kinds of different equipment you can use to put these things together, and but for us, you know, this just works pretty good. So, and after you've done the first one, it just becomes routine. You got it all figured out how to do it, and everything just kind of goes together like it's supposed to. Now the good thing about this is you want to pre-cut as much of this stuff as you can, so that whenever you come in here and start assembling, you're not having to put together one or two and then stop and go do something else. And you want to make sure that, you know, you got all your parts cut, so that you're not having to waste time going back into. So you can see that I've got all my parts cut here, and I've got all my parts cut there, and so this ought to be a fairly timely task anyways. Put your pretty side down together, and everything fits nice and snug. And voila, there's number 2. We like to use Armor of God as a way to, our workshop, as a way to reach other people, and you know, just make sure you have a relationship with Christ. And you know, that's really the most important thing that we have on this earth. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's really all you got is your relationship with Christ, and that really matters a lot. And you know, hey, comment below and tell me what your favorite Bible verse is. That'll be a fun little game for us to do. And you know, I think that's a cool way to get people engaged in the Bible. People that may not read it so much, if they see your comment of your favorite Bible verse, it might turn them on to it, man. You never know. And you never know how you're going to reach different people. And my favorite Bible verse is John 14:6, when Jesus said, "I'm the way and the truth and the life, and nobody comes to the Father except through me." And that lets us know and understand the authority that Jesus has, that he has the same authority as God does. And to know Jesus Christ on a personal level is really, you know, that's a really good relationship that you can have. I think it's really important, and that's what Armor of God Woodworks is all about. That's how we got started. We got started on faith, and I got an interesting story that goes along with my life. Maybe we'll talk about that some other time, but not today. But I just want y'all to know I care about each of you, and you know, if you're watching these videos, I appreciate it. And you know, we're just all trying to do this thing together. And you know, starting off the new year, it's January 2nd today, and so you know, we're trying to all start the new year off right. And it's interesting how things can change so much year after year. You find yourself doing different things and just enjoying life. But I really do hope that you'll take time to work on your relationship with Christ. And don't be scared of it. You know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's something that you should hold in high regard, and it's something that you should protect and value. It's something that you should want other people to value too, because I know that you know, we've all been through some rough times and some crazy stuff. But I know at the end of the day that God had control of my life for a long time, because if he didn't, I know I wouldn't be here. But anyways, that's how we assemble doors. Leave your comments below. Ask any questions you want to. If it's a good question, I'll answer you back. You know, I'm not going to go chasing anything down a rabbit hole. But anyways, comment below, like, subscribe. Thank you for joining Armor of God Woodworks. Thank you for subscribing. And I mean, you know, hey, leave your favorite Bible verse down below, and so that way, you know, I'll go through and look at them and check them all out and just see where everybody's coming from. So anyways, y'all have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the other side.